How's it going, people? So, Mashup here. It is Monday, and there's a little bit of an update. I say a little bit, it's fairly interesting, this one, gotta be said. So, starting off, you got the EOC and the Legacy Mashup thing. In essence, you can use the interfaces of one with the other's combat, and vice versa. So, you could use EOC combat with Legacy mode's imagery, or you could use Legacy mode's combat with EOC's imagery. Yeah, it's pretty much that. Yeah, so the combat interface, all that kind of stuff, interchangeable, that's now a thing. Happy days. Solomon store-wise, they've added two more legendary pets. These are the Drake and another Drake, so Shadow Drake and Fire Drake. These are the two new ones. They look kind of funky, whatever. But they've changed it slightly, and they've actually improved all legendary pets. So if you happen to have one, then this may be interesting for you. Quickly running through this, basically all of your legendary pets now have new abilities, which is quite nice. You can unlock up to three, well, you can have up to 3 of these abilities active at any given time on your legendary pet, and they're going to be equipped into kind of like slots within your pet itself. And altogether there's 6 new abilities available for you to actually equip to your Bluggy. And some of these are going to be very, very useful, I'm not going to lie. So starting off, one of the skills is called Slayer Finisher. Your pet will automatically finish off Slayer monsters that usually require an item, saving you an imagery slot. So in and of itself, you could equip that, and straight away you've got a pretty useful little pet while slaying. The other one is Item Repair. Basically, it'll act as your player-owned house armor stand, and you simply use one of your repairable items on it once per hour, and you can repair it there and then. That, honestly, is something or nothing, and probably not worth bothering with. The other one, though, is Beast of Burden. You can use your Beast of Burden familiar pouch on your pet, and it'll grant it the equivalent kind of usage as whatever thing you actually have. Don't make much sense, does it? In essence, you could use a yak scroll, yak pouch on your Beast of Burden, your legendary pet, with this active ability, and basically he can hold just as many items as your yak. Simple as that. On top of that, it can have a duration of up to 2 hours, and you can renew it just simply by adding more pouches to it. So all in all, that's a fairly useful one. It is quite useful, although I'm pretty sure it's not going to have the ability to lob it straight into your bank view, so yeah, neither here nor there. It's kind of good, and at the same time not, but considering they go about and they can pick up items and stuff like that for you as well, this is going to be pretty useful in order to use these legendary pets from now on. So the next one is High Alchemy. Once per 10 minutes you can use an item on it, and it'll high alch it for you and give you the cash. Simple as. The next one is Fertilizer. Every hour your pet will answer the call of nature, and you can pick up 6 buckets of super compost from it. So you can kind of passively get super compost if you want whilst you're running around doing woodcutting or something like that, which may actually be kind of useful, to be fair. And last but not least is Lifesaver. Your pet will quite literally act as a ring of life and will save you. It also has a 2-hour cooldown, and it does not work within PvP areas. So all in all, your legendary pets, if you currently have one, or if not, you can buy them from the Solomon store thing. They're fairly expensive, don't get me wrong, but you can improve them quite a bit with these abilities, not gonna lie. It's pretty useful for Slayer, considering you no longer have to carry the rock hammer and that kind of nonsense, and they'll kill them for you. The Beast of Burden's pretty handy, kind of acts as a turtle, I suppose, or a yak, minus the ability to bank. And then you got the Lifesaver, which acts as a ring of life, which is always a nice little backup, which saves you having to actually equip anything like that. So yeah, not bad. Quite a nice little backup. So these are the improvements to them. On top of that, the skills they currently have, Forage, has now an improved drop table, and forage coins will also be added straight to your money pouch instead of just being left on the floor. And Scavenging now begins as soon as the ability activates, and has an improved interface, and your pet will more reliably pick up these goddamn items. If you've been using a legendary pet, pretty much like myself, occasionally your pet won't bother picking stuff up, or you'll pick stuff up but he won't give it to you, and it'll just be left on the floor, that kind of thing. Yeah, this should now improve it quite a bit. So the next is the Treasure Hunter Spring Cleaner and Prize Management. Now if you are one of the lucky ones to have a spring cleaner, I still have yet to get one, and I really do want one. The setup has been simplified, offering auto or manual setup and dismantle for research modes. The spring cleaner can now be made more effective by using springs, increasing research, XP and dismantle efficiency, even unlocking the ability to break down noted or stackable items. You can fully upgrade it immediately for 10k springs, or your cleaner can be upgraded over a series of tiers as you simply just use the springs regularly. The spring capacity of the spring cleaner itself has also been increased to 250,000 springs to be held. Crossbows and battle staves have been broken down into more useful items than you are currently getting from it. Items that the spring cleaner fails to break down are now dropped to the floor, and messaging has also been improved. The new treasure hunter prize management interface is just a thing you've accumulated prizes and aren't sure what to do with them. If you talk to Alice or click the hammer or wrench icon in the treasure hunter interface, it'll now list all the treasure hunter items that you currently own, allows you to search by typing in an item's name, and allows you to destroy unwanted items or convert eligible items to coins. So the other news is the streaming kind of factor that RuneScape is currently doing, so they're going to be changing this up and giving it a schedule. So from now on, every Tuesday between 4 and 5 UTC, game time that is, which makes it quite a lot easier if you turn on the in-game clock, you will have a developer Q&A session on Twitch. You can go there and check that out every Tuesday. Additionally, on the Tuesday between 8 and 9, same time on UTSC, the in-game clock, there will be a nice little bit of a community stream, so you can have a little wander and have a bit of gander on that. This week's stream is apparently opening 10k easy clue scrolls with Mod James and Wolf. So it may be interesting to have a gander to see what actually comes out of it. There we go. That is pretty much it. The Rune Labs criteria is going to change tomorrow. At the moment it's looking for massive stuff, so it's pretty much going to end now in a minute. And they're going to be changing it to small size Halloween or horror themed update. So start thinking about those dodgy ideas and go to Rune Labs and you can chuck it in there. Not a huge amount of updates, same old for the entirety of April. It's kind of small patches here and there, but that legendary pet thing does seem pretty interesting. I'm going to have to try that out, to be totally honest. I do like the use of the legendary pet. And then Legacy and EOC Mashup, which is neither here nor there, whatever. So moving on, we have the patch notes for this week. Well, as you can see, there's a few of them, quite a few of them. So starting off then, we've got aquarium changes. A list has been added to the aquarium bathysphere to allow players to track their fish eggs and prawn ball counts. Players who have reset their aquarium with a plug can now visit the prawn broker to activate an animation override for bare-handed fishing. Resetting once will unlock silver coloured fish, and resetting twice will give gold coloured fish when catching them bare-handed. This affects tuna, swordfish, shark and great white shark. Baron sharks will not be affected, however. Bare-handed catching the above fish will now use an updated model introduced with the aquarium, with the default colours when they are caught. Certain prawn ball items have been made tradable on the Grand Exchange and can now be sold to shops. The following items are now stackable in the player's inventory. Previously noted versions now have a convert option to switch them to the regular stackable versions. These will be the telescope lenses, portholes, message in a bottle, shark jawbones and the ship figureheads. Players can now earn a golden mystery egg from the Motherlode Maw. Iron Man players can now use regular and golden prawn crackers on the pawnbroker in their player-owned house to open the crackers and earn the reward inside. Signs of the Porter will now correctly transport raw great white sharks to the bank whilst you are fishing. The message displayed after earning a pawn perk via catching prawn balls has been changed to yellow so it stands out more. The message that appears when running out of charges from a prawn penny and a prawn pound is now red and no longer spam filtered to make it more noticeable whilst you're fishing. Butlers can no longer get stuck inside an aquarium, which is always nice. Catching a great white shark will now contribute rewards earning to your next prawn ball. Opening an oyster inside an aquarium no longer displays a message about opening a purse. The driftwood prawn broker no longer appears twice in the construction skill guide. A typo previously displayed when opening a prawn ball has been fixed, and a typo previously displayed in the aquarium when harvesting seaweed's also been fixed. Moving on to the Nintifix. The Archmage title, the blue, the green, the red and the grey titles can now be activated from the title interface depending on the player's quest choices during the Rune Mysteries quest. A warning now appears 5 minutes prior to the 23-hour automatic logout. That's very nice. Gotta love the Archmage. Only real men have Archmage. Graphical wise, Pickup Sticks now wears the Summoning Cape instead of the Slayer Cape in the Threes Company Fremenic Saga. The Vitality Suit will no longer display the Wilderness in the wilderness when taking damage. Skills and minigame goodness. The Mage of Zamorak in the wilderness will no longer allow players to be teleported while carrying warband supplies. Bad players. Players can no longer activate the Wicked Hood inside the Barbarian Assault games. Skill lamp cash out values have been made consistent with the prismatic lamp values on the Treasure Hunter, and opening the Treasure Hunt interface via the Upgrades and Extras button with no keys remaining no longer causes the frame rate to drop drastically. Moving on to your quests and achievement patches, Overload Salve and Supreme Overload Salves will now correctly protect players from Elvarg's Dragonfire Breath, and the Task Stand Still Illunid can no longer be completed via the NPC Contact spell. Get off your asses and talk to it. Moving on to the miscellaneous goodness. The Lily of the Valley has returned. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. Virago can no longer walk on top of players in obscure circumstances on the final phase. An instance with toggling always on chat mode while gazing into the Orb of Oculus has been fixed. Using an Orb of Oculus before entering a dungeon no longer breaks the camera during dungeoneering. Wishing Well fruits have been rebalanced to prevent players from receiving excessive amounts of low price seeds. Camera issues in the Salt in the Wound Cave has been snorted out. An issue that was preventing players from being able to use the Wilderness Lodestone via the world map has now been fixed. Players can now teleport to the Privthinus Lodestone via both the RuneScape surface and the Privthinus world maps. There you have it, bitches. Those are your updates for today. That is pretty much everything. So all in all, you've got the EOC Legacy Mashup mode. You can switch the interfaces to whichever kind of mode you want to use. So if you want to use EOC Combat, then you can have the old school interface with it, and in the vice versa, you can have the Legacy mode Combat with the EOC interfaces and stuff. There we go. That's the other one. Other than that, you've got the Legendary Pet Massive Improvement. They're adding more skills to the Legendary Pets, making them quite a bit more useful in my opinion. They may actually be worth getting, although they are fairly fucking expensive, not gonna lie. Although they are really useful with scavenging attached onto them as well. And last but not least, Spring Cleaner's been updated to an absurd scale and is massively overpowered. If you have one, I am jealous. Give me one, you bitches. That is pretty much it. Patch notes, job done. There's everything for today. You have been informed. That's pretty much it. So until later, people, I will catch you all later. Have a good one.